Hi, I'm Jeff Hopper, COO of Links Players. I'm here with our president, Jeffrey Cranford. We're in La Quinta, California, where a number of our fellowships are, and we would like to spend some time today talking about some things that we hope will be valuable to Links Fellowship leaders and Links Fellowship participants around the country. And so we're going to do a series of short videos. This one, the first one, has to do with what is a Links player. I'll tell you this, Jeff, I get questioned a lot, particularly about players on the tour. Is this player a believer? Is this player a Links player? And I have to answer that question in a careful way, because we have something of a working relationship with some players who are on tour, and yet there is no one on tour who, say, sponsors us, or we don't sponsor them. There's nobody out there on tour wearing a Links Players logo or anything like that. And yet we refer to those people as Links Players. You know, we'll take a Tom Lehman, for instance, and call him a Links player. Some of the players on the LPGA Tour as well will refer to them as Links players. We have had through the years a couple of LPGA players who've written in our devotional rota for us, and definitely they're Links players. And we'll refer to them as that in the same way that we'll refer to somebody in a Links Fellowship as a Links player. So let's talk a little bit about what makes someone a Links player. Why do we call them that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think it would help some of you to know where we got Links from. Back in the early 80s, you had Jim Hiskey and some other guys who really founded what was really something that originated out of the tour. It was guys who came together and said, look, we really are interested in sharing our faith. We find ourselves playing with these guys in pro-ams and in and around clubs, and we want to have a platform to be able to share our faith. And out of that came the Links letter. And through just some years of change and shift and focus, and some groups were started back then, and they weren't always had a much oversight. And through the process, we added Links players. So Links has origins way back to the founding of Links letter. And then Links players, what is a Links player? I think a Links player is anyone who has a commitment to follow Jesus and then finds himself really in the world of golf and want to share that, be vocal about their faith in whatever capacity that would be, either by word or by deed or by both. And they find themselves in what the community that we might call Links players. So whether or not a guy subscribes or takes a daily devotional, or even whether your group identifies specifically, we're a Links group. You may identify as XYZ Sunset Country Club group. It's not really the point. It's a group of players that find themselves in the world of golf with a platform to reach others through golf on the links. And they want to be, in a sense, a player in the kingdom. They want to be somebody who makes Jesus famous in and around the platform that they've been given.
Mm-hmm. It's an affinity ministry. People come together around something that they enjoy together, and then it starts from there. Now, of course, for Links players, there is this Links players mission, and it applies generally to all Links players, but really specifically to each individual Links player. So looking at that, saying, this is the mission I want to have in my life. And that is based on the LINKS of Links. And so it's love God and others. Integrate Christ into all of my life, which negates the idea of I can have a privatized faith, which is an important concept today. Network my friends into my faith so that I'm meeting in fellowship with other believers, kindling compassion for the poor and needy, obviously a functionally significant thing in terms of Christ's teaching, always pushing people toward meeting the needs of the most needy, and then sharing Christ. And so it begins with the Great Commandment, love God and others. It ends with the Great Commission, share Christ with others. And so that string of things is what makes someone a Links player. And so when I say, when I'm writing something and I declare that a particular tour player, for instance, is a Links player, we say, oh, this Links player, Webb Simpson, won the U.S. Open. What we're meaning is simply saying, essentially, this person is a Christ follower who would love God and others, integrate,
use
network,
their platform,
kindle, and share. Use their platform and share. So I would do that with those who are in links fellowships in the same way that I would do it with those who are out there in the professional golf world. And it's a nice way to bring us all together.
Absolutely.
And whether you carry that big formal name, obviously you probably wouldn't introduce
Right.
yourself to a lot of folks that way. Hi,
Never
Jeff, I'm
don't
a
know
links
that I ever
player.
have.
Yes, but it is a helpful identifier that this is a person who's making a conscious attempt to walk with Jesus.
And the world is becoming increasingly aware of that. It's inescapable over the last number of years when you've got guys like, your Zach Johnsons after winning a major, Webb Simpson recently after winning a major, Bubba Watson after winning a major, two of our last few majors, preemptive to this last one, but Bubba and Webb, current Masters and U.S. Open champion, and they talk about their faith. So in that sense, they're links players. We recently where Golf Digest has done an article, and they were asking the other day, where are all these guys coming from? Are there more believers on the tour? I think they're just they're recognizing their platform. They're wanting to follow all 5 of those in our acrostic there, and that loving and integrating and networking and kindling and then sharing, and that sharing is a big part of their platform. And so in that way, they're certainly links players.
Right. And so when we say we'd love you to be a links player, we're not saying we need you to be a member of some particular group. We're saying we'd like to see you follow Jesus.
Absolutely. And use that platform. You may not be a tour player, but if you play golf in and around that club, whether you're a public course player, whether you're at a private club, you're going to have, golf provides a unique platform to be with somebody, either in a golf cart or walking alongside someone for 4 hours, and to share things. I mean, you hit shot, the total amount of time that you're actually hitting shots are not very much. There's a lot of time to connect. It's unique in sports. I mean, even if you're playing tennis, you're all the way across the net. It's hard to have a conversation. If you're football, I mean, very few sports lend themselves to an ability to have a connection with somebody more than golf. And so I think in this day and age, a links player is certainly somebody that there's a future for us in terms of sharing our faith.
Yeah, perfect. That's what a links player is.
Thank you. Have a great day.